Right. Right. So, the commercial value of the well, this is not the other parameter. This it is not take time for 5% of the previous. Right. Under this topic, we will discuss the SP when the topic is corporate law. 90%, 95% of people discuss it to simplify the selected section of the conference. There are few topics that cover the corporate. That will be yes, middle. It's more important, yes. That's it. Yes. Come. Okay, let's go here. Then, okay. Then, I got personally, love that. 13. Alsen, come. And you. Come. Por la cosa, ¿eh? No me. Por eso lo voy a hacer. Are you telling? Right. Okay, so we're going to discuss about the cooperator. Probably I wonder when you do that something the commission or something. So because you may need the knowledge of the contract law and agency law, especially to understand the companies. Because companies are concerned. It only exists in the eyes of law. There's no such a physical being. It is a fiction. Therefore, companies always have to have two agents. Those agents may be directors, may be shareholders, may be accountant, or the right? If someone has the authority to act on behalf of the company, then the company is liable for that of those people. They may have actual authority, maybe implied authority, or maybe appearance authority. However, if someone has the authority to act on behalf of the company, then the company is liable. So those authorities probably are given under the law of agent. Therefore, agency law, the contract law, but it's important to understand the concept of cooperation. So today we will discuss about the concept of cooperation. However, as I told you before, we will simplify the selected section of the company action within the given time period, right? So, right. So therefore, I want you to have a copy of the company set by next week. So we will start the company by next week. Today we try to understand the concept of cooperation because company also may be a type of cooperation. What's the difference of between company and cooperation? Do you understand? During my classes, you can use over the data. We give the students who are capable of using AI, ChatGPT, and all. Provided that you are capable of the same time, we learn that sometimes those physical devices cannot fulfill and meet that. Right. You also welcome to the class. So we just started, nothing is that important. I just read the question. My question was, according to your opinion, what are the similarities or differences between company and corporate? Anyone? Yes. No, there are no wrong answers here. All the answers are correct, provided that you can make. That's a law. So what is given by the Court of Appeal was almost reversed by the Supreme Court 2 days ago. Related to the last case. Court of Appeal said there's no case. Supreme Court said it was a mistake. Right? And make liable for all the. That's a law. The Court of Appeal. There are other tests. Therefore, there are no wrong and correct answers. That's why you ask. So what are those differences? You can use the mobile. Legal structure. Okay. So what's the legal structure of corporation? Okay. He says that the company has to register under the Companies Act, but the corporations are established by special act. Okay. Here's an example to Corporation Act. Universities Act, like Colombo Municipal Ordinance, Pradesh Sabha Ordinance, that established Pradesh Sabha. Colombo Municipal Ordinance established the Colombo Municipal Council. Universities Act established the University of Vidyavada. So likewise, the separate People Corporation Act, maybe Mahindra Rajapaksa Foundation, then Maitri Padram Foundation Act. So they have established the incorporated bodies. So they are corporations. So consent. So probably you consent means to be like yes, limited liability company, right? So it is a business incorporated only under the companies. But yes, you will agree with that, or there are other opinion? That's exactly what we will discuss. So a company means also a limited liability company, right? So company is also a type of corporation, but the term corporation is very wide, right? So CA itself is a corporation. That itself is a corporation. Jaipur University is a corporation. Municipal Council of Colombo is a corporation. Likewise, Deola, Proof and Corporation is a corporation. Deola incorporated bodies, but if company is incorporated, they have to put on the company. So that you will register under the company. But in general people, they use the term company even to mean any business company, not only the incorporated business. But we use the term company to mean incorporated bodies, but general people use the term company even to mean any unincorporated association. As an example, and we can use the term company even to mean the partnership. Even before 1987 in Sri Lanka, also partnership named Indian and company. But after 1987, it is prohibited. But before that, partnership named Indian and company. So the term company you can use for any type of business, whether it is incorporated or not. But in Commonwealth countries, we use the term company to mean that incorporated body registered under the company itself. But term corporation is really wide. So they are established by separate act. Right. So even though our topic is corporate law, we basically discuss about the subsection of the Companies Act. These are some of the objectives of learning this law, this subject, right? So to develop your knowledge and understanding of the purpose of the company law and public agency, we have studied because we get that we have learned it during the first year of PhD, right, on the commercial. Right? And also guide the students with the legal principles involved in the formation of a company, ownership and management of the company, and dissolution of the company. Right? What are the tools that regulation will affect? Creating the formation, ownership, management, and the dissolution of the company. Right? To equip the students with the knowledge of legislature regulating companies in Sri Lanka, mainly Companies Act, and there are some other rules regulations. As an example, State Tax, Security and Exception Act, just told, right? Trust code, duty trust code, right? VAT rules and regulations, right? So in the time permit, we learn those type of other related laws there. And also to be familiar with the common law related to the company. What is common law means? What do you understand by the term common law? This is your question. If you have an answer, you can say. So now you have some idea, right? So now can we what's the common law? unwritten law, right? Unwritten law. Can you simplify it further? The most simple answer for that question, the common law. You will get a very useful answer for the term common law. Fundamental is common law is you can search the term common law, what's the meaning of common law? Is that something you what conclusions sort of. What common law will have? So basically, there are two types of laws as statutory law and the common. Right? Maybe written law and unwritten. Written law means the law passed by the party. They are known as the act, laws, legislation. Yes. Other type of law is the parliament has not passed a law to cover each and every aspect of our life. In such a case, when there are disputes before the court, judges cannot say that wait until parliament passes laws, they have to settle this. When settling such disputes, they also make a legal principle. So they are known as the judge-made law, case law, common law, unwritten law, judicial procedure. Right? So basically, the common law means law decided by or legal principles established by English common law. Only we can say that law made by the judge. Unwritten law, case law, judicial procedure, judgment, or last section. So basically, common law means here law decided by English common law. In English, there are two types of laws. Laws passed by the English Parliament, Westminster Parliament. They are known as English statutory. So decided by English judges are known as the English common law. So we believe, and there are the countries that follow English traditions are known as the common law countries. Basically, countries won't follow their statute. Because in such a case, English Parliament can pass laws to govern us. Therefore, we don't follow their statute. We follow their statute law means when the English Parliament pass laws, they can pass laws to our country. No good for the sovereign country. Therefore, what we follow is the English common law. Right? So the countries which follow English common law are known as the common law countries. Canada, New Zealand, Australia, all those countries are common law countries. Okay. What are other type of countries in the world? Except UK, other Europe countries are known as the civil law countries. They have a completely different test. The countries which follow England and their tests are known as the common law countries. And if I can Canada, New Zealand, all have almost same common law countries. And almost all the colonies of England. So common law means the English legal principles. To familiar with the common law rules and principles, and also we will compare the Sri Lankan law with the other developed countries whenever they are necessary, and it is common for the legal subject that we develop the students' critical thinking. And at the end of this course, if you do a fair job, then you should be able to understand the applicable law to the companies, including the Companies Act and the common law principles. Okay. So there are some legal principles under the Companies Act. And also you should be able to apply the some syllable section of the companies after the legal result in a real life situation when decision making. Say as an example, you should be able to do a solvency test. You should be able to say whether a company can make a distribution, whether a company can make a dividend. Right? You should be able to describe what are the duties of directors, what are the qualifications of directors, what are the powers of shareholders, right? What are the type of resolution, right? How to incorporate the company, what are the required documents to incorporate the company, what are the consequences of incorporation, right? And also you should be able to identify them and to apply them in a real life in a simple situation. In a complex situation, anyway, you have to go to the law. As an example, you won't be able to find out the complex situation we have for the complaint lawyers. But in a simple decision making should be able to get that after reasonable notice. So this is a syllabus in a nutshell. Right? We want the partnership and agency going, right? So others we will do. So we complete the introduction today, and then the next day we will discuss about the how to incorporate a limited company, and then articles of association, different type of companies, promoters and company contract, prospectus, then the capital maintenance of the company, capital shares, debentures, then the company officers like directors, secretary, and auditors, and their roles, and then the different type of meetings and the different type of resolutions that companies can show us, and the charge, and then the non-terminal company management and the terminal form of company management. And also, if we have time, we will be discussing about the CSA rules and regulations, listed rules. SEC Act will also be discussed, and according to the time, we will also try to have one at least yesterday about the possible example. That is the syllabus that we are going to do. Right. So to pass the exam, you need a copy of the comparison because 90% is going to simplify the some selected section of the comparison. Therefore, by next week, I want you to have a copy of the comparison. I don't mind whether it's the hard copy or soft copy, right? So, yes, if you are comfortable with the soft copy, I don't mind the previous that, like, not a copyright. We will make nothing is copyright protected, so you can download that. Yeah. But we are traditional people, we like to have hard copies you can. Right? Not that much expensive, you can buy it from the government publication bureau, or maybe you can borrow it from the PDF. It's around 500. And we want to make how much is it? Yeah, that's the key. 3,000. Wow, beginning you have done. Yes. I had to pay 7,500. So I mean, history, even if it's 3,000 history, if you just skip one time, you can get 6 comparisons. So therefore, that's not that much you right? So boys probably won't get that in the action. I also spend but still you can manage it. This is really cheaper than the half of the bottle, only 500 rupees. Right? So if you buy a hard copy, so you can buy it for only 500 or or you can have a soft copy because throughout the 15 days we are going to discuss some selected section of the comparison. Therefore, sometimes it may make things boring, you know. Unlike with the commercial law of Australia, you discuss about the number of cases, right? There's no such interesting part when you simplify the act. You can think of it. Right? However, if you have some interest, there's some rationale, some reason behind each and every section of the comparison. And anyway, you have to do it. Right? So why do you make audit report? As auditor, you have the main duty of the auditor is to make a report to the shareholder. You do it why? because it is a law. It is section 152 of the Compliance Act. So Compliance Act requires you to prepare audit report. It's a Compliance Act. We ask you to include these type of things in the audit report. You do it not because of any other things, but the requirement of the compliance. There is a part of auditors and accountant, right? Therefore, yes, we have that type of intention, even the compliance. For compliance, we can make an interesting subject, right? But if you thought this type of boarding subject is going to be boring anyway, so anyway, it's completely different from the commercial. Because in commercial, even though you have some mandate for the agency, following it's a different partnership. Still, you could get up. Even though you have some type of person, the following the next person, send of question. So you can understand it. But here, each and every topic is interrelated. If you are not here to discuss the incorporation and the legal separateness or legal status of the company, probably you won't understand anything there. Right? If you do not know what is the solvency test, then you won't be able to make how to make a distribution of dividend. If you are absent for the director's appointment, qualification and all, there's no use of talking about the duties of directors of corporate company. Because each and every subject is interrelated. Okay? Therefore, I recommend you to make a regular attendance. Right? Make sure that you can make some type of interest in the subject. Right? So there's a list of additional training. I'm sure you won't read them. Right? So for you to pass the exam, the compliance and the lecture notes are enough. Right? But when there's assignment or whatever, you can prepare those books. Probably you will use the online resources. That's perfectly all right? So you are much easier and comfortable with online resources. So you can use the online resources for all the things. There's nothing wrong. Provided that you search and get the correct. Right. And also there's evaluation, you know it, right? So the performance assessment gives you 40% out of 100 marks. Right? So currently this is a good way for you to go for a pass, which result, because sometimes some of them are useful, right? So therefore, if you have a good memory in the group, so you are in it, so you also get the good mark. So that's a good thing you can do. But in the calculation, we always promote team, right? Because we don't have a team players. So therefore, that's a part of the undergraduate process, am I right? So your teamwork, the attitudes, maybe presentation, communication, they are part of your undergraduate process. So that is why we have a continuous assessment we use it. So unfortunately, students don't use the maximum of it. Sometimes there are some who I know at least they are not contributed by giving a bottle of something. But still they want their name in the group. Alumani Kandabandat Mukudin, in Oma Samban, Arugani, we put the beer the post on. That's not what your university expects. They expect you to share your knowledge, like into your teamwork, right? So that is why those type of countries are we need to mark. Because we have well-educated people in this country, but we don't have a well-managed people. It's the issue this country. Right? So, you all know it. They never give you the way. It's sad to see. I don't know. Look at the art of the he has not educated. But discipline manners are, I don't know where they are. That's not your fault, really. So I only have some fairness over the because during this school time, we do about the syllabus and the haircut and the length of sugar. Nothing. Don't put one time, you will name a share. They take a Ramadi Kalbimona. Have you seen the Japanese girls? They school uniform. You know better than this. Right? You know the discipline. Right? Can you compare the Japanese discipline with you? Right? They can ask me to respect that. Attitudes. Better than a villa on it. the government discipline mind, right? Their behavior, their act, their attitude. That is the discipline. I see one of the posts that explains recently about the greatness of this trade. 35 trade, one of the greatest in concentrate. Of course, this program is that's one that is that for the relative to concentrate. One that you program. That's the question that they apologize and all the figures. That purpose is not there. The job for that project. Make up a return that way. Approach it to not there. Approach is for Pila. You can apologize. Approach it from the Latin one. Appearing for another government. But the discipline money is best. Nick, right? Even at that funding company. Nick, one like over couple they have to discipline by a mess. They are not work for it at all. But yes, so the unregulated level, we use those things to develop those type of soft skills. Unfortunately, people don't use it. Next, these are used and I'm to rather to my three way to plan both like that. You don't need in the other people in group, you don't need to contribute to the same manner. At least by words you have to contribute. Even that is not done. Therefore, anyway, as a tradition, I also make you some teamwork, group work, but at the same time, I have at least one individual perspective. Therefore, your self-use assessment will consist of one individual assessment and about two group or teamwork. And also, I always keep 10 marks with me. That's given for your discipline, from my discussion. Right? Because I tell you, we need the very disciplined which is divided into just active participate, how do you respect each other, how do you respect the place, then all those are given that can. Just don't expect that we have the specific that I will give you the 10 months, okay? For us, something to 10 minutes, right? And another one, there are some they come to me and they say, just nothing important. There is one that active participation, right? So therefore, there is some reaction to that. Take that mark. So basically, when you have a good team, you get good marks. But it also can happen. If the method is bad, even the good decision will be penalized. That's a good thing with the good thing. Right. So final exam is closed book test anyway, right? So that will give you 60 marks. Probably, yes, unless you want to get paid, in university level, people won't get paid. Very hard to fail in universities, unless you want to get paid. No. Anyway, you are going to exam with the 30 marks or something around that. Maybe. Whether you take you know what you will the marks. Then you only have to pay 50 marks to pass the test. However, maybe 60 because you have to score 40%. A 40% done no requirement is right. So universities completely different type of exam you face it. As an example, I have the syllabus, I teach, right? I get it, I make the question paper, I get it modeled from someone I know, right? I mark the papers, but still if you can't pass or cannot score that minimum mark, so definitely you have to go to the psychologist and check your mail that you need. Usually exam not paid again, psychologist can pay or again handle that, more than the in exam people when the account paper you can paste them in the use. So therefore, it is one hand is good because almost all the people or the students who enroll in the use have a minimum requirement and they are good people. So they are required engagement, they get far. Right. So now we will discuss the today's lesson. So some of them anyway I am going to skip because they are very common to you and you are very aware of that. But I have the slides, but I will upload the slide, but I am going to speak it if I think that they are not there. So the company or the concept of company of cooperation we are going to discuss today as a so concept of company of cooperation we will discuss as a mode of business. Okay. So there are number of modes that you can handle business. Okay. Just let me some of the ways that you can handle business. Most traditional and the oldest way is trying business is the sole proprietorship. Some countries they are all more but in some countries they still run as a convenience. Partnership, right? Okay. There are two types of partnership as general partnership and limited liability partnership. In Sri Lanka and England, we only can say general partnership. That is another it's older than the concept of company. And today probably it is the professional business they run as a partnership. So professional business they are popular as a partnership, right? So this example is the accounting and auditing firm. They run as a partnership. Almost all the popular audit firm, legal firm are partners. But yes. Another type of business that you can run your business. Corporations, right? Corporations is always private company as a type of company, right? And there are some other types of business, right? So we have public-private partnership, we have cooperatives, we have agencies, we have franchise, control. You don't know how to run franchise business, right? There's a franchise business, there's that, so we have please, we go and then, Nick. So they have not made it the authority and they have made the established some often even without information. They have broken the activity. So franchise are basically activity to another country. For that they will separate but still they are owned by that activity. They need to obey that agreement, so they will take the money. So as a result, no management in this country. Right. Right. So those are some type of business that you can run your business. So, however, what is important is the business modes available in this country is almost similar to the business modes available in the other side of the world. The reason is the business form were introduced into Sri Lanka as it's known by the English people. There were no businesses in this country even during the Portuguese and Dutch period. It's the English people they introduced a business form. As a result, our business forms are almost similar to business forms available in the other side of the world. So I'm not going to discuss about some type of business form because you have been there. There's an example of sole proprietorship. I'm not going to discuss what's the main disadvantage of sole proprietorship as you understand? Unlimited liability is probably the worst thing in the sole proprietorship. That means if the business assets are not sufficient, even the owner has to give his personal assets care of the rest of the company. But some students believe that sole proprietorship means small business and so on. So that's not the fact. There may be thousands of employees under the sole proprietorship. The only thing is it belongs to one class, owned by one class. But there may be 500 employees. Some business fund sole proprietorship very nicely. So some business, the best mode may be the sole proprietorship. Right? We have no idea this kind of business. Right? So some people like to make a basic one. Maybe the best mode is the sole proprietorship. So as some best example, you know the house of person. Now it is Galle and now it's a limited liability company. When it was in the duplication road, it was a sole proprietorship. But I guess it was nice when it was a sole proprietorship and made more profit than the limited liability. Therefore, some business may run the different way. We cannot say that this is the best mode to run your business. Right. So, how can you minimize the space, the unlimited liability? That you must have some protection for your personal assets, your home or something like that, right? So, how can you protect that or avoid that unlimited liability? For that, probably we have to go back and track the law. So one thing we can do is come out. If you have some risk and if you do something like that, then you can transfer your such important property to someone you trust before you start your sole property. Then even you bank a following this, you don't need to because we are not. Okay. But in Sri Lanka, what people do is they start their business. Once your business went bankrupt, then only you start to transfer your property to other clients. That doesn't work now, right? That even may end up you with some fraudulent action. Therefore, unless you settle to some extent, you better to transfer that property to someone you trust. Then they are protected and you have nothing. So if you have nothing, these are the there's nothing to worry about them. There are no punishment. Right? So that's one way that we can avoid that unlimited liability. Right? So this is another form of business that you can run business, right? Partnerships. They are also known as companionship companies. In Sri Lanka, they were used to name as an anchor. But they don't use it. So, but it's a partnership. You know, in so Section 100 of the Partnership Act defines what is a partnership. Accordingly, partnership is the relationship which subsists between persons carrying on a business in common with the view of profit. So that's almost every requirement of a partnership. So it is a relationship. What's the nature of relationship in partnership? What type of relationship exists among the partners? So in legal terms, we call it fiduciary relationship. That means the relationship that depends on trust and confidence. That's the nature of partnership. If you cannot maintain that trust and confidence, you better not to start a partnership. That is why partners are limited to 20 general partnership. You can't maintain such trustworthy relations with hundreds of people. That's why they are established among the top people like husband and wife, family members, friends, and so on. That's why they are established among the similar people, auditors, accountants, lawyers, doctors, easy to maintain that trustworthy relationship. Okay. You can't make a partnership with the strangers, right? Because that's against the nature of partnership. Partnership depends on trust and confidence because if one partner does something, all others will be like that. Right? You can say that you are not correct. It was not allowed, it was not prohibited, and so on. So none of them is. Right? All the partners are liable for that of the other partner. All are agents of the partnership, all are agents of the other partners. It is the same, even though it is a contract, deal, or criminal law. Right? So that is why we have to be extremely careful when you select in the partner. Otherwise, it's again the nature of partnership. It's a very trustworthy relation. Because of this liability, it came off a little and kind of that monkey party or mutal. So partnership depends on the trust and connection. You have to be extremely careful in this state of the partner. If not, almost all the general partnerships are now coming. One of the very unsuccessful type of business. However, professional partnerships are nice. Right? So they are good. So, yes. Therefore, select a trustworthy person who wants to run that is smooth partnership as a business. Not even a business, even in life partner, you have to be extremely careful. Be extremely careful with the partner for your life. So as the partnership business. Otherwise, there was a statement you might have read that. There's a statement that is in England says married in haste, repent at leisure. As you see, Vivahavi, Vidhasi, Pasant, everything came after that. Same thing will happen to path as well if you are haste. So, you have to be extremely careful in that path. It wasn't wrong. Then what are we doing next? Love and over in the path. First come first over here. Love and Shaka, but when you want to get married, just keep it. Men can allow take on the liquor. Otherwise, I'm not asking the pain on me. Hey, how is it clear on me? You can have the same on me. Because, especially countries like we don't have those type of the spirit partnership. Therefore, you think that you are expert and you know everything about your girlfriend or boyfriend, but honestly, you're going to recognize them 1 week after your marriage. That's a truth. The American working now. Imran probably they will handle it. Okay, after a partner, whether that's such a recognition. Right? That's a truth, this kind of like freedom. Trust me, I'm 50 years old. Well, Lanka, I have a good day partnership now. Right? It's part of my gender, part of my Danya, it's lacking in this country. Civil partnership. You don't know it until you get married. Medical the father was getting work on that. Right? But we are like 100 there. Therefore, before you get married, at least go somewhere. At least go on the trip and try to understand whether you can be right. Please, so yes, try to take what I say, right? In Sri Lanka, right? Is that we believe that we know everything, but we know nothing. We only try to understand them even after 1 week of marriage. So therefore, same thing will happen to the partner right? Therefore, be very careful, extremely careful when you select the partner for your business. Right? Right. So it's a relationship. That relationship is a finished relationship which depends on trust and confidence. Which subsist between persons. The Act used the term persons. So person, we use in law individual and person. Individual means probably natural person. Person may be either natural person, no artificial person. Therefore, not even the two individuals, even two companies can form a partnership. And also it uses plural persons. Therefore, the minimum members of a partnership is 2. The maximum, in fact, it is not a requirement of the partnership law, but the companies act as the maximum limit for the general trading partnership. It does not apply to professional partnership. For the general partnership, they do not exist partnership. For the general partnership, the maximum members are 20, but for the professional partnership, for the term account no firm, there's no such limit. They can have even 200 partners. And it says that the business must be carried on, and you only can have a partnership to run a business, right? That's why other type of things like clubs or maybe Rotary Club, Lions Club, they are not partnership because they are not business. Because a business was a partnership. Business means what's a business? What are the business? Business. Partnership is not for business. I don't know. You want the data on the but I think business is for the profit motivation. But for the partnership, you can only form to make profit. If not, it's not a partnership. But business, why that meeting happening? Business may be for profit or even maybe non-profit ideas. But business non-profit in the business profit right. There are some cases they have that's what is business, right? There's one case of it's not related to partnership program, right? There's one case, in that case, there was a man who was animal number, where a number of pets. In fact, at the very beginning, there were only about 20 pets. But time being, but time being, in years' time, there are about 3,000. These cats, ducks, chickens, right? Number of pets. And also, there were employees, because obviously you can't manage about 3,000 pets. Okay. And also, we have sold some of the pets for money. So the question was, one day tax people came in. When they want to charge tax, this man argued that it was his fault. You all know that there are no tax for the profit, but there are taxes for the business. The question was whether it was a public or business. What do you think? Objective is what is objective? Purpose, yes. If they are not clear, you have to ascertain them according to the available facts and the circumstances of each case. Objectively clear, no issues. But in these cases, you have to identify them according to the available facts. Yes, in this case, when I court decided that court mainly concerned about that he had some employees. He had about 15 employees. They have paid EPF, so that was a one concern. And also, he has sold animals. Right? Therefore, court decided at the very beginning, for a few years, it was not a business. But now, it was a business. Therefore, they decided to tax after a few years' time. Therefore, they decided, even though it was started as a hobby, by now it has become business. They concern about the profit for the month he has made and the number of employees and all those concern and decided to business. So, however, for the partnership flow, it's very clear. However, partnership act as a definition for the term business, it says business include any trade, occupation, or profession. Partnership business include any trade, occupation, or profession. That's a renter, offer, and there are some requirements, and it says you have to make it in common with the reverse profit. Therefore, partnership you only can form to make profit. If there's no profit motivation, it is not a partnership. But still, it may be a business, but not a partnership. So, we discussed the partnership with the company one day, right? Because partnership is a result of what? How can you form a partnership? Partnerships are a result of partnerships are contract. It's a result of an agreement. If there's no agreement, no partnership. Right? It's a result of agreement, right? Contract was not a partnership over things. There's no agreement, then only the partnership agreements come into force. Right? However, you cannot form a company by agreement, right? Company got another agreement. Partnership is a result of an agreement. That agreement may be either written or even only requirements in Sri Lanka. If capital exceeds 1,000 rupees, there must be a significant and other part. Apart from that, it's the result of an agreement, but you can't form a company by agreement. That you only can do according to the provisions of the Companies Act. It's a very formal type of business company. So this is another way that you can do business, joint ventures. That's also popular. India has number of popular joint ventures. Almost all the countries have, right? So, what's the main difference between joint ventures and partnerships? Partnership can have just like the investment fund. Ownership. Partnership owned by partners. Joint ventures owned by two partners. Joint ventures only two partners. 50-50. Joint ventures. Yeah. You can just check with the list. They already started. Next one up here. What are the difference between joint ventures and partnerships? Like the public or the public. From down on right the top.
Ongoing business.
Partnership is traditional ongoing business. Partnership is operates for the longer period than the joint ventures. One is some are one can interesting people satisfactory organize.
Joint ventures for a specific task.
Specific task, okay.
Share of it total.
Purchase. Partners equally share the risk of them. According to that, that's a good thing. All other, I mean, that's a interesting. In the partners, all partners should share the risks and liabilities. In a joint ventures, according to the agreement. Partnership, there may be agreements that there are some certain principles. All the partners are agents of that. There's no such agents in the joint venture. Right, so you can, yes, reading those things, you can get some understanding about the difference between the partnership and joint venture. But it was discussed in one of the two of the Australian cases. Because there are two Australian cases we have discussed the difference between the joint ventures and partnership according to the Australian guides. Right? The main difference between the partnership and joint ventures was decided. I think it was in some of you also said. The partnership you can only form to share the profit. A partnership can be only formed to share the profit. But joint ventures can be formed to share the product, knowledge, profit cost, anything else. Okay. But if the joint ventures are also formed to share the profit, they said that joint venture is also a partnership. So partnership you can form for any other reason, right? Because the definition says, right? The partnership you only can form to share the profit. All your partners are in the profit. Form the partnership to share the profit. So joint ventures maybe share the product, share the land, share the knowledge, share the technology that you can form the joint venture. No. Now, she says whether partners liability differ according to the profit sharing ratio. What do you think? Here, the liability means not the, say, as an example, it's the if a one partner hit a pedestrian because of reckless decision driving. Then all the partners are liable for that time. Right? That party even can sue against the person who was not driving the car. You can't say that I was only liable for 10%. I was not the driver. Because they are partnership, right? They have, like say as an example, you two has a partnership. He has taken a loan from the bank, but the bank can sue against you, right? Bank can sue against you. You can say that my name is so. That you can settle with her later if you have argument. But for the third parties, you are liable. That's the very nature of partnership. The third parties can decide. For contract, their liability is joint liability. All cases not example, but there's only one type of action. For the deal, Texas negligence, their liability is joint and several. One of the last one is that liability. Yes, you also correct because if you have an internal arrangement that you can later settle among the partners in there. But for the third parties, you cannot say. That's why you have to be extremely careful and select with the partner. Right? Third parties are very careful. Sometimes you have profit, still you are liable for the third party. Maybe you are not a partner. Maybe you may be a holding partner. Holding out partners are like you are in fact not a partner, but you yourself hold out as a partner. Still third parties can sue against you. Right? Because I know if third parties can reasonably believe that you are a partner, you are liable for the third party. Holding out partners are therefore, that's a partnership. That's why you have to be extremely careful. Right? Apart from that, as you said, there are a number of differences, so I mainly explain the judgment and the main difference. Right? So probably the privatization is another type of business which started in England with the Anne Margaret Thatcher and even Sri Lanka we used it, but now almost all the countries of the world recognize that the privatization is happening. Even England, they don't privatize. Sri Lankan government has also taken a policy that they don't privatize it. Right? It is probably replaced with the private public partnership. privatization came now and everything is like private public partnership. And that's what happened. Lanka is private public partnership. For city, other that we are managing there, highways. So, like that, public public private public partnership. And that what happened is basically the government has infrastructure package. Move it. No, I done. No, so private sector is there available with the private sector at the time. Therefore, without spending any rupee from the budget, they can invite the public sector in basically private public partnerships are entered into for the long period of time. As an example, that Harvard check was given to Chinese for 30 years. Here, some money how to visit that is the government is land up to beat them. During that time, those private sector or those other foreign government, they have to make their capital and the interest and the profit. Once after the completion of period, they have to give it back to the Sri Lankan government. It will again become a public property. That's the theory behind the public-private partnership. Basically, it is an agreement between the government and the private sector of the government. So, this is very nicely used in some other countries, especially India, Australia, but even UK. UK, still even the Western country, they are strongly against the privatization of the health sector. In the Christian organization, National Health Service, it's a privatized English. So therefore, what they did was about 10 years ago, they have given it for the private sector and the private public partnership. That's a very similar project as Sri Lanka. In London, Middlesex, that place is called Middlesex. There were 5 hospitals that we closed down. What they did was, as the English people like it, the privatization, they have given it to one private sector. Instead of those 5 hospitals nearby, they built a huge one building with 1,500 beds. That released 5 other properties free for the English government. And it was given for them for 5 years. During that period, they have earned their investment under property. For that, they are given parking, cafeteria, laundry, private consultation, they also be given all this daily. So probably Sri Lanka is almost the same. We can do the same in the hospitals behind the canal. It's a lot. They again, general hospital, eye hospital, dental hospital, soil hospital. So much easy kilometer pass. We need a pass. Again, we have some idea. Of course, the government did not found, but they made it huge. The public-private partnership. So that's very popular even in Sri Lanka and private partnership. They start with the long periods of agreement, but India now uses it even for the simple short-term period that way. India, they are also putting even period shade for 2 years again. The public years down, 2 years. That's the right? Yeah, I will be able to get advertising. The program can have a partner, even advertise after 2 years' time, they are giving that to the central government. You want to start on project, you have the person who will be right. The toilets to get done, that's the main problem. Well, so you look at the bathroom. When it's into camping, I like to get up and take a phone and make bathroom. I'm not going to speak that thing. After these, right? For the get for the right? Whatever there are nice bathrooms. There's a production quality. Bath Chusa, second to the first one. Why will I get nice beauty? Peaceful very bathroom and hotel. Peaceful man, principal, see. Other bathroom, make it about bathroom. But they will not then again the sound the case. I do not feasible. Let's among that you. Tamara, but it's not Lanka. Mandana is not about dollars. See that to say Sama time of the food target. You run people can't in there. They will not promote that. It's very unfortunate that the authorities are not there. They get the take the Mandana. The quality of education come up. You see the university of Colombo in it. So, are sorry, to get it. Away back to me, back to the paper, whatever. You can you might have seen some other like that. About your partner, what you learn, later we are not a you can have Zula is for the love in bathroom, first I think that's a good project. I don't know whether they accept, right? To have some of the good sanitary services in like this. There's some places like Galle, CBD, in the end, you will probably take a not a so it's good for the country. Lanka, you know, done I was able to look up and I'm take of this life. Just know the way it's the agreement now. It's the agreement between the government and the private sector. The government should try its best to give best for the public of the country. They will down and just get on people, they will get an anticipate. Next, look at it. I think like 1,000 good, never see like our people, you know, they open those the later in the morning, but those 5 minutes the people they come with the best of the world, right? So therefore our people are always, you know, for the condition. In that way you can make it success. But if there are the people they really like or love this country, so this is success. Beautiful country, but the people want to make this country better, therefore they want to come to public huge problem after the name. Right. So anyway, this is another one of the, it's not latest one of the popular business from that you can do business. Apart from that, there are corporations. That's probably the most popular method of doing business. Corporation. Company is also a type of corporation. So, what is a corporation? Almost 5%. So, break so, what is corporation? So, it is defined as an artificial unit or entity. Right? So, corporation no person is a fiction, artificial person, not a natural person. It's an artificial unit or entity. Normally consists of group of individuals. Right? Normally consists of group of individuals which the law treats as having a common will and therefore capable of holding rights and duties. So a corporation is purely an artificial entity treated by law as a legal person. Therefore, corporations only exist until and unless law recognizes it. Right? So there are two types of such corporations. If the corporation consists of only one person, we call it corporate store. That's only one person. Right? And then, if the corporation consists of more than one person, so it is called corporate aggregate. Can you give me some example for the corporate store? There's only one person. More example. Today there are single shareholder companies. Single shareholder companies. Right? So probably best example is the English monarchy. the team of queen. It's a corporate body. Right? It's a corporate body. English people believe at least there's no gap between two people. With the death body of the king of queen is taken, saying that long live the king. What's the meaning? Long live the corporations, long live the monarch. Right? Right? There's no gap even between two. That's what they believe. So it's a corporate soul. In Buckingham Palace, we don't know. It's a bit charge. Next, we go to the corporation, monarch. Right? So they have a dual character. As a charge, it's a separate character. As a corporate body, as a king, it's a separate character. That kingship is a corporate body. It's a corporate soul. Right? As a corporation, king can be sued. But as a natural person, king never will be sued. Right? Right? Because they believe king does no wrong. Like corporation has to be. If any government authority has done something wrong, they will sue against the king. If any criminal offense, then the king will sue against it. Because English government is represented by the king. That's a corporate law. Right? So corporate aggregate means if the corporation consists of more than one individual, it's a corporate aggregate. As an example, the company consists of the chairman and the other board members. A university consisting of the vice chancellor and the member of council. Right? Municipal council consists of the mayor and member. So they are example for corporate aggregate. But so when it's come to the corporations, right? So what's come to the mind today? There are multinational, transnational companies, right? Apple, Google, Facebook, Walmart, right? So they are corporations. At the same time, locally independent companies to either side of the gold or maybe private companies. And also, something like universities, churches are also maybe a YMBA, right? They are also corporate. Therefore, it covers a lot. Right? It is such multinational transnational companies, maybe charities, temples, or YMBA, YMCA, whatever, right? Or maybe such small companies run by after them. Whatever it is, basically the same law, the Companies Act will apply. So, then companies is a very ambiguous term. That's, I think, the nature of law. Right? That's common for all the legal terms. That's the one reason that it's not read the law. Right? So you try to understand the term law, right? What's the meaning of the term law? Right? Very difficult to define. Right? So there are a number of definitions for the term law. If you can know how to say it, right? So even there's no unanimous agreement between lawyers and judges about the term. Right? Judges and lawyers say it's such a ambiguous term. Right? Sometimes, if you ask someone in the Buddhist countries what is law, they will say law is Quran. Law is our religion. Right? But you will be surprised to hear that whether law is a religion. Because for the Muslim, there's no difference between the law and religion. But for you, it's completely different. Right? You may be something else. Right? So it's the laws passed by the parliament. For those are the legal principles accepted by the judges. Those are the rules and regulations made for the better conduct of the society. Likewise, there you may have different meanings for that. Right? So that's why the legal terms are very, it's a legal jargon. You can't exactly say, right? So likewise, say you have the contract, right? What is offered? It has a very complete, you don't know what the jail public. Right? But the jail public has offer, it's not offer for contract, but consideration. Doesn't mean that money or cash. Right? In Kali case, the supper was the consideration. Right? So likewise, with the term company is a term which has no certain technical meaning. Right? Some people use the term company even to mean any association of a group of persons with a common purpose. Right? In that sense, there are two types of sub-business, partnership and the limited liability company, but completely two different types of business, partnership and service. In the first corporation of the world, like many other subjects or special subjects of commercial areas, they developed and derived in India. So as the concept of corporation of respect. They also derived and developed in India. Right? So the first corporation they recognized was towns, church, universities, etc. Clearly, they exclude business with the profit motivation from the concept of corporation. You can compare the today's concept, right? Today, whenever you come to the business or corporation or company, what is automatically comes to your mind is nothing but the business. But at the very beginning of the concept of corporation, they rejected to give a corporate status for the profit motivation orientation business. Because they thought if it was given to the corporation, they will completely forget the social responsibility. I think it has happened to some extent today, right? So there is, there is never any go between the objective of the corporation. There's some group, they say their objective is to maximize the profit for the shareholder. But there's another school they believe, no, it's not only maximize the profit for the shareholder, they have a social responsibility as well, right? So that's a starting point, right? At the very beginning, they rejected to give corporate status for the profit orientation business. They only recognize corporations like the church, Parovsky and the municipal councils and the universities. Right? None of them have a profit motivation. Right? So, and at that time, they were chartered by governmental regulation by the public establishment because there was no parliament in today's sense. Right? However, there was a parliament, but even in the parliament, main power was with the Senate members, not with the representatives. The Senate members were close relations of the royal family. Therefore, at that time, to have a company or corporation was a privilege. That means you have some type of close relationship with the royal family. Right? So, in 15th century, English court evolved the concept of limited liability. Right? And they did not grant corporate status for the purely profit-making association. Right? So it was started with the Elizabeth era, where the actual incorporation was started. In fact, the English government started to capture or conquer some other country. As a result, they wanted to have a ship. They were expensive even at that time. It was unlikely for one or two people to pull together, and if something happened, if they were destroyed or sunk in the deep sea, it is unlikely for the one or two people to pay. As a result, they pulled together, and with the concept of limited liability, if the ship was sunk or destroyed, still their person assets were saved. So with that, with the concept of limited liability, not with the legal perspective, the first they start the company. Okay. Among those first companies were is into the East India Company, which captured the Ceylon at that time. The Ceylon was captured by the English companies. The West India Company, they captured the Western country. Right? It is said that the profit of the East India Company at that time was 300. That's a 300% rate of profit. The English company that captured the Ceylon at that time. So they first made such companies with the concept of limited liability. Then, in fact, they also evolved the legal personality asset. So they start with the huge aspects of the ship. In late 19th century, English government recognized the legal personality and the limited liability both. Then first they passed the Joint Liability Act. Then they also passed the Companies Act. With that, they introduced that the incorporation of a company, which is similar to today. By filling up some forms, you can incorporate a company, which is almost similar to the incorporation of a company today. Right? So with that, it becomes such a simple thing, and any English person of England can incorporate a company. At one time, it was a privilege, and by the end of the 19th century, it was not a privilege anymore. Any person could incorporate a company by filling out some forms and paying the prescribed fee. Right? So, such corporation, right, recognized by John Marshall and American jurists in the 1819, corporation is an artificial being. It is an artificial being, invisible, intangible, and only exists in the external. That's how he defined the concept. It's artificial being. It's not a natural person at all. It's the creation of law. This is the invention of law. To give a legal person for a non-physical being. Right? So it is invisible, intangible. Right? But law treat it just as law treat you. Right? So law treat the company as a person just like you. So Edward Coke is an English jurist. He defined a company or corporation in 1612 as invisible, immortal, and again existing only in the external. Where can you get the money? Pain, heart, body, having the company is a person with nobody knows. Nobody, body, no, but law treats it just as privilege. You can enjoy all the rights and privileges enjoyed by a network. So it is a creation of law. So therefore, that is why they both use that it only exists in the contemplation of the law. Right? So such persons can be created in 4 ways in England, but in most probably in any other country only in 2 ways, or even you can say 1 way. Right? So basically in any other country, including Sri Lanka, such artificial person can only be created by Parliament. Parliament can do in 2 ways. Okay. One thing is by passing a special act. With that act, if incorporated under that act, it becomes an incorporated good. As an example, universities are incorporated under the Universities Act. Padre Sabha is incorporated under the Padre Sabha Act. Municipal Council is incorporated under the Municipal Council Ordinance. Two-point corporation is incorporated under the Two-point Corporation Act. Right? Likewise, by passing special act, you can incorporate or create such legal person, such artificial person. So that's a normal way to create such people. You have to pass a special act to incorporate. Such person can also be created under registering under normal or general act. The best example is the Companies. What is important or difference between the Companies Act and the other special act? Under the Companies Act, you can incorporate thousands of companies under one. Unexpected that you have to pass separate law to incorporate separate entities. But under the Companies Act, under one law, you can incorporate thousands of them. If any organization, association, business is incorporated under the Companies Act, it becomes a corporate. Right? So therefore, you can make such persons incorporating under the General Act like Companies Act or passing a special act. Okay. So that's how we can make such artificial person in Sri Lanka. However, in England, as a country which evolved this concept, there are 2 other ways to incorporate a company. So one is even the king or queen can incorporate such companies by royal charter. It's a very traditional country. They themselves say that England is the most civilized country, but on the other hand, it's a very traditional country. That can be very million dollar county, right? A very traditional country. So they are still, right? Even though this is not common, but still whenever they want to start a new university, they do it by royal charter. And university of parliament they established by royal charter. And also, there are few entities in England, like Oxford, Cambridge Boroughs, Municipal Council here, right? Say, as an example, Oxford Municipal Council. The English people treat it as a separate legal person. But it is not established under the special act. There's no royal charter. But they believe it as a separate person. What municipal council so take a municipal council ordinance as Oxford Borough but they believe it as a separate legal person. Oxford Municipal Council. So they believe it is a corporation by tradition, by custom. Right? So what in fact what English people believe is there might be a royal charter and it is lost. Because the Pitan him. Without calling royal charter, they can this way so but anyway, they believe it as a legal, separate legal person. Right. Income companies, so whenever there is a sole cooperative, we know our liability is only towards the very limited number of parties or stakeholders. Within the party, it is limited to the party. But when it comes to company or corporation, it is not only shareholders. Maybe shareholders come last. Right? As a theory, we say the director's main duty is to maximize the profit for the shareholders. But in fact, what they do is they more concerned about the general public than the shareholders. So in companies, there are a number of stakeholders, the investors, outside vendors like bankers, their company has more trust on banks net, and the employees, consumers, general public, environment, so all are the stakeholders of the companies. So those are some of the new developments of the company law. Now there are single shareholder companies. Right? Even though we say that companies is a legal person, there are occasions where the directors or shareholders might be personal liable. Talk about the criminal liability of companies, like corporate manslaughter. Right? So corporate governance has developed as a new subject. Maybe it's a subject for your discipline as well, right? And influence on the state-owned corporations by multinational structural companies, also part of corporate governance today. Right? So those are some of the new developments with their responsibility towards the environment and the human rights. Right? They all are some of the new developments in the company law. Right? So companies that we discuss as a civil law, but it doesn't say that there are no terms under company. That the company said there are 540 sections. Out of them, about 105 sections use the term offense. The offense we use to mean the criminal law. However, they are not that much discussed because they all are bail. They are bail out terms one day. However, it doesn't mean that the company does not do crime. So can company do a crime? The company is a person. They can do some kinds like not to pay EXP for signatures and all. So my question in fact is, can they do a traditional crime like murder or rape? Even if they tell one company. Once I'm another my Lanka. How is that you want to continue going that not learn what they want? What the company that It was not properly maintained. Gas, I will leak in and one to the they are beyond the companies. One time mention I know, because the companies do not properly maintain their equipment. So how you are working? When there are accident train and only, whether who is liable, whether the train driver or the company. Whether the train driver can pay compensation for thousands of passengers. What do you think, whether the companies can do crime? What is it? They can do crime, but there are some arguments whether they can do something like murder. There's one case, in that case, there was a ferry, the passenger ship, it was given to the company shareholders were English and French people. Because they have not properly maintained the ship, it sunk in the deep sea and 68 passengers were died. When the case was filed before the English court, the first charge was the murder, second charge was the culpable. Both are criminal. Not the make comparison, only the different minimum, they get the mind, martial art. They are two different. What is it? You can guess. Because guys now have a look where it's at now. For the murder, punishment is death penalty. For the manslaughter or the culpable homicide, maximum 3 years, many times suspended in this. 6 months after. The difference is now intention. If you kill a person with the intention to kill, he's a man. If you kill a person without the intention to kill him, you will be a man. The best example is an accident. When you drive, you hit a person and he died. You never had the intention to kill him. Other than man, you did not come alive. No accident. You have no intention. You have parents are in minute, suspended intention. After losing the founding. In a sub, and not like a smart, not for any way. However, my God, very good. It does not stand like people. And also, there are some occasions where you can reduce the murder to alcohol. If you can prove some situation, you are insane. At the time of that, suddenly, the support but the intention in it's not a murder. Next, and that Indian case of Lanka are interesting. When the husband and wife was watching the TV, husband hit the wife with the remote control. Unfortunately, that they reacted. Unlikely, the remote control is a case. I'll give you one. In this case, in England, where the cases are for the jury members have decided it is not the murder, it's the culpable. Because months ago, the main reason was they were in the opinion that no one will use the remote control to kill the person with it. Because the judges, they cannot open your heart and see whether you have the intention. Then they can open the heart, right? So they decided according to the available evidence. If you plan the murder, buy a weapon, my neck, shoot, head, chest, that shows your intention. You can't prove neck intention. We never know, but court use what is known as the reasonable man test. But the reasonable people believe that's what the court believes. And you have proven beyond the reasonable doubt. It's a plan that the young people, they will give it. You can go back, they can hold the camera, some of the intention close. By remote control, they have the camera. They unlikely one design a plasma TV here, that you are the most right. Man, over that, power like a marble. We are the money, 44 taking care of marriage. Here, the right? That's not something very unlikely. There are some other occasions, I say, as an example, self-defense. You know, in America, but there are the things happen, there will change that. Well, you can have a gun for your self-defense. Right? To kill a person, if you can prove it, you can kill a person for your self-defense, that's never will kill. Someone done it. You can kill it. It never will kill unless you want to get there. You don't. It's a murder that monster got the heart. But you know something you have to prove that you kill a person for your self-defense. Sometimes the superior orders. Sometimes in the forces are not. They always argue that they kill a person because of they were ordered by superiors. The more you have into another man, boy can under powers and Arundan, Kasalakama, the group argument, because they knew that they were argue that they killed that soldier, killed that lady because of that he was ordered by the superior. Because he had no intention, he killed a person because of the superior. Then he was guilty for Kakavans. None of them is taken very kind of yes, you are only bound to follow the legal instruction given by the superior. Okay? You don't need to follow the legal instruction. But they decided that they had no intention, therefore, the maximum punishment was to make it 12 years of so you not a man. There's something for the natural law. That officer was died by heart attack after 5 years. So the month of the mother this was a brutal attack. Right. So, likewise, there are some occasions you can reduce the murder for culpable homicide. In this case, English court decided that the company or corporation is very similar to a human. They have a heart. Company has a heart. Company's heart is the bottom left. Right? Then company has hands and fingers and nose. They will do what the heart says. That's why employees. The employees are even like fingers, hands and nose. They will do what the heart, bottom left. But the judges were still in the opinion that they couldn't find the intention of the company. Therefore, court decided to prove a murder, you have to prove intention. So they were in the opinion that they cannot find the company's intention. Therefore, company was liable for culpable, right? But not for the murder. Therefore, company can do crimes, but there are issues whether the company can do a murder. Intention of killing a person correctly. But this case happened about 12 years ago. Now situation is changed. Now there is a new argument that company should be liable for even the criminal cases like murder. The argument is when company involved, forget the requirement of intention. There are some crimes we don't need to prove the intention, like water pollution. So intention is strict liability. Likewise, when company involved, forget the requirement of intention when the company can be made to answer. The next question is how to punish the company. They also make arguments that company can give punishment. Company can give a death penalty, that is the deal with the company. There is just no such a company, just a death penalty. You can imprison the company. You can suspend the business for 10 years, 20 years, 5 years. That's a imprisonment for the company. Of course, you can fine the company. Therefore, in that way, you can punish the company. From the near future, they will decide that the companies are also liable for the traditional crime taxes. Then there's another development in company law, whether companies entitled to enjoy the human rights or fundamental rights. We got other questions. Those are some basic rights that can be enjoyed by everyone. So the companies also entitled to enjoy the human rights. In human rights practice, as an example in Srilanka, in some provisions, some articles, they use the term person. In some articles, they use the term citizen. Now, it is well established that when the act or law uses the term person, the company is also a person when they are entitled for that. But there are issues when they use the term citizen, whether the company is liable. That's still a question. But when they use these rights are for the person, then definitely complains a person, complains also liable and responsible. And anyway, by separate other judgment, it was well established that companies have a responsibility towards the environment. You can establish that in public environment protection. When Europe case, even the bankrupt company has the liability to treat the environment. They will again compare environmental bankrupt company, right? Bankrupt they will look if you are very environment because the world is now more concerned about the environment. So bankrupt company power environmental responsibility. So running business definitely they are. That is one of the main reasons why those investors still come to countries. Traditionally, they came to countries because of the cheap labor and cheap land. But we all know now in Sri Lanka, they are not cheap labor. But still they come. The main reason is the environmental issues. In those developed countries, it's really hard to get the environmental action. Lanka, municipal council of Oregon, all of us are part of that. So those are the reasons they still come consider Sri Lanka to escape from those environmental issues. But in those countries, even though it's a company, it is very certain that they are responsible for the environmental aspect. Right. So, that is enough for today. It will be called the very acid. So we next week, there are a few slides that we can do within 10-15 minutes, and then I'm going to start about the incorporation and related. So please make sure that you have a top copy of hard copy of the company actually do come. Do you have any questions? Any questions for me? Around that field? Okay. If you have a